Thank you for joining us for the preview and prediction of Arroyo hosting Schurr on Friday night. I'm Aram Tolegian, joined by Fred J. Robledo. Behind the camera, James Escarcega. What can we say? Anytime you get a rematch of two teams that played in the postseason year before, it's a big thing, and that's exactly what we have here. Two undefeated teams, Schurr and Arroyo, going down Friday night at Arroyo at B.L. Bergstrom Stadium.
Yeah, Aram, I was going over all of the games this weekend. To me, this is the most exciting game because you got 2-0 teams. There's a rematch. This is going to be a challenge for us on newspaper deadlines because you got two quarterbacks who love to throw the ball. Miguel Aguero at Schurr's thrown for 585 yards. Ernesto Camacho is near 500. They've combined for over 1,000 passing yards. So you can see these teams going back and forth at each other. The difference for me, though, Aram, when you talk about playmakers, is Schurr has Lance Babb II. And I wonder if someone like that, and he's had a great couple of weeks. Let me just see what Lance has done real quick. He's had 18 receptions for 283 yards. He just seems like he could be the difference in a game of big playmakers where he's the biggest playmaker.
Yeah, and they have Francisco Remigio last week, who had a big game, another target for Aguero to work with. But, Freddie, they had Babb last year, and they had Aguero last year. And the second half of that game, Arroyo pulled away. And that was a game that I covered last year, second round of the playoffs. It looked like Schurr was getting ready to put Arroyo away in the second quarter. And Arroyo kind of hung in, and then in the second half, Arroyo went on this tear. I don't know. I mean, I think they may have scored on their last 4 or 5 possessions of the game. Couldn't stop Camacho when he was running the ball and throwing it. Something happened there, and that's kind of where I thought was the spark moment for Arroyo's championship run. And now you've seen that happen. They go on to win a CIF championship, and then you see it happen again. They get down a little bit against Covina, and they hit another gear, like championship teams, like good teams do. They hit another gear in that Covina game, and I think they scored like the next, 21, 28 straight points against Covina?
28 straight points.
Yeah. When teams do that, when they're capable of turning it on and dominating for like a full quarter or a half of a game, they're very dangerous. So this one, I don't know. I mean, because I think Schurr is probably even better than they were last year. And I think Arroyo is, I'm not sure Arroyo's better. I think they're about the same, which is pretty darn good. So that makes picking this game.
Did it take Arroyo some time to put away Temple City last week?
I don't know, because they played that game on a Thursday when we all thought it was on a Friday, right?
Yeah.
And, you look at the final
Thanks,
score.
Coach Singheiser, for letting us know of the time or date switch.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that's Well, that was 27-8. Arroyo's win over TC. I'm telling you, Freddie, I think my Rams are a little better this year, so don't read too much into that.
I think Arroyo. Look, they're going to find their groove. And I think when, later on down, well, I don't know yet. I mean, I watched that first game against Covina. Maybe it was just because it's week 0 out of the gate. Neither team looked particularly great to me or looked,
Right.
And I just think looking at a game like this when you lose to a team the year before and look, both teams have their weapons back. And you just said Schurr might have a little bit more back. I just think when it, in a game like this, when it comes down to, and this is what Coach Singheiser's talked about from the beginning of the year, is that hunger and that thirst and where you're going to find that next gear. I think Schurr will likely have more of that inside them than Arroyo will. I think Arroyo, for me to have a really good shot down the line, needs to get knocked down this year. And I think this is probably the game it does, where it knocks them back a little bit and then they have something to play for the rest of the year. I think they're going to need that challenge. And I just like Schurr in this situation. I know it's at Arroyo. I just like him in this spot, having lost last year and going back there. Arroyo already having the rings on their fingers. We've seen them on social media. I don't know how many times this year. Yeah. We know that they're the champions.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we do.
It's tough. It's tough to find that same hunger that they had last year, and I'd have to imagine that Schurr has it.
Right, and something else to keep in mind is that Schurr started the season with a workmanlike win over Cal, which is 21-14. Cal's an 0-2 team, but last week in a game that figured to be close against a Garfield team that had just knocked off Montebello the week before.
Right, and you see what
Schurr
Montebello did to
rolls.
Schurr. Did to St. Paul,
Right.
I'm sorry.
Stride in that game, I think, Freddie. I didn't see it, and I'm picking Schurr in this game over
I've
Arroyo.
got Schurr too. We both do.
But this game should absolutely. I think James had mentioned, that this game might go well till like midnight.
Yeah.
Two offenses that can just put up a bunch of points.
Yeah. And you can't go until midnight because our Whittier deadline is 10 o'clock. We need that story filed by 10 o'clock.
Right. This is a last possession game, in my opinion. I slightly lean to Schurr to get its revenge. Schurr is a team that Eric Sondheimer, and I don't think he's seen them, tweeted, that Schurr is got to be, like the favorite or one of the two favorites in D12. That's the division Arroyo won last year. So this Schurr team is no joke. Bab, a rare D1 recruit, multiple offers.
Right.
You don't see that often at Schurr. When's the last time? Jay Macias? How about that one, Jimmy?
Yes.
You just convinced me even more that Schurr's going to win this game.
Yeah, so let's see how, he was there last year, though, and Arroyo handled business. So
Arroyo's not going to win all of these games. This is where
they just might. They're on a roll.
This is where it happens.
Okay, so it's going down.
This is where the party stops.
It's going down to Arroyo. Great neighborhood football. Last year it was at Schurr. This year it's in El Monte. Get out there on Friday night. Should be a real thriller.